This video may contain content that is not suitable for the faint of heart. Viewer discretion is advised.
Carl!
Oh, hey!
Carl!
I didn't do that.
Carl!
Seriously, what was up with that ending? Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to TheLooneyTurtle. Llamas with Hats is one of those strange YouTube series like Catface, Poke Awesome, and Hellbenders. You don't honestly know what to expect, especially with how surreal the worlds are. Llamas with Hats not only fits well online, but it left me scratching my head because it took an extremely strange turn of events leading to Carl's demise. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For those of you who don't know, the entire series follows Carl killing a lot of people in various ways. First with a dead human in his house, then sinking an entire cruise ship, blowing up a city, and then creating a crack in space-time to collect baby hands. To Paul, the other llama, this is a bit of a letdown because he's used to Carl's behavior. The very next episode, Paul leaves because he's had enough of Carl. For me, this would have been a fitting but unsatisfying ending because we're losing one of the main characters and there's not very much else that can be done. I guess Film Cow didn't agree because he continued the series for 6 more episodes where things take a strange turn. That's not to say that it was bad, but it's different from what I've come to expect from this series. Carl creates a mask of Paul and tries to move on, but after putting the mask on a sheep doesn't work, he tried to get Paul back. Paul refuses, leading Carl to going into a forest where he starts role-playing to the point that he goes insane. In the beginning, Paul constantly criticized Carl, but at this point, Paul isn't there to hold him back. The only source of feedback that he's getting is encouragement to complete his work to the point where there's not much else to do. He's hit a wall, done all that there is to do, and so, Carl commits suicide in the final episode. While Film Cow claims that this is a punchline to an unsettling joke, I have my own interpretation. This series is like a creator and a fan base. Carl, our creator, starts out with someone that he converses with after creating every work of art. He's good friends with this person, even to the point of throwing a birthday party for him.
Then again, it wasn't his birthday and Paul didn't like the gift, but I guess it's the thought that counts?
In this series, our self-proclaimed artist has a purpose to his work, but eventually his consultant leaves. He tried to carry on, but a lingering demand for more surfaces. When you think about it, this mask is like a fan base, constantly nagging for more. Carl could have, at any point, ignored this, but for a time, it fills the void that Paul left. It gives Carl a purpose, a reason to carry on with his work, but doesn't at any time tell him to stop or hold back. It never questions why or how, it just keeps asking for more, but then we hit the point where there's nothing left to do. This snaps Carl back to reality, as evidenced by the mask being around his neck. And might I add that that implies that Carl was the mask the whole time. Anyways, he keeps creating and only realizes that it was too much when it's too late. This is like having an idea and listening to a needy fan base, or at the very least, rushing it. There's a degrade in quality when you don't take the right amount of time on a project. In a way, the release schedule for Llamas with Hats reflects this degrade in quality. The series started out with a year between the first 3 episodes, then it slowly dwindled as time went on. 8 months since the last episode, 1 month, 15 days again, 7 days, 5 days, and that's it. The end. Not only that, but during the end credits you can hear a degrade in audio quality. Ever notice how this song ends up sounding like this in the second to last episode? That was a gradual change starting at the 7th episode with a slight pitch alteration and progressively getting worse as the series went on. The last episode, though, reverts back to the original song, like it's a release. It's finally done. There's nothing else that needs to be added. No more fans nagging for another episode. It's kind of like how Sakurai, the creator of Smash Bros., has to continue making bigger and better sequels, even when he has, in a way, hit his limit. He has a fan base that always expects a sequel, even when there isn't one in the works. The only difference is that Sakurai, unlike Carl, holds back and attempts to create the best work of art that he can. Then there's Carl, who kept creating more and more, not pacing himself, not perfecting his work to the point where there's nothing left. He's even lost the reason that he keeps going, so we see the literal death of the author.
Not to be confused with the term death of the author. That's technically what this entire video is.
It shows what can happen if you only listen to the fanbase, or when you rush an idea. Sure, we get more episodes, but it doesn't have the same level of quality that it used to have. Then again, I originally wanted to say that Film Cow was intentionally making this point because of the sequelization of Llamas with Hats. The rushed nature of these episodes, coupled with the journey that Carl went through, made it seem like a logical conclusion, but he had a different idea. Film Cow sees the ending as a punchline to a joke. To quote,
Imagine talking to a friend and they mention Llamas with Hats. They haven't seen any of the episodes beyond the 4th. Now explain to them what happens to the series after that.
Oh yeah, Paul leaves Carl, and Carl spends every episode after that getting more and more depressed before throwing himself off a bridge. A somber note, but I guess there's more than one way of reading into this. Hey, that's pretty neat, right? The viewer and the creator can interpret things in slightly different ways. There's no real right or wrong way of interpreting it, but some interesting ideas can be presented if we solely go off of our own experiences and interpretations. So with all that said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you want to see more of my content, then click that subscribe button for future updates. If you really enjoy my content, then consider supporting me on Patreon, and I'll see you guys next time.